Welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is going to be a lot of fun. I just wanted to welcome you guys all and thank you guys so much. I'm just going to mute all of you guys. I will also allow you guys to unmute yourselves. This is it. It won't. This will not require me to do all the talking. So if you guys want to chime in, if you guys want to add, if you guys want to confirm what I'm saying when I talk about you guys, I would be very, very blessed to have your interaction. If you just want to be a fly on the wall and you may not want to say too much, that's okay too. Okay, so don't feel obligated in case you are one way or the other. We're going to have a lot of fun today. This is going to be the most powerful thing that ever happens to you. I promise you guys. What can happen inside of numerology is like the most powerful thing that has affected my life. I used to be, wishing for things, wishing I could say the right thing, wishing I knew what to do in life. I thought I did. I tried creating wealth, find a good job. It led me into starting an Enagic business. Okay, I'm friends with Balaj. Him and I have known each other since high school, and he had this weird water thing. And I was just like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of jobs, man. I keep getting fired. Let me join your pyramid scheme. I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to get this thing done. And it started my journey as an entrepreneur. And through that journey, I was introduced to numerology as a way to align myself for business. Now, I'm super, spiritual. I already was like all about the 1111 and, all the stuff that comes with and I like that kind of thing. So when I saw numerology and I was like, cool, okay. And business, you say. So then I had a conversation with this person. And this was after she already blew my freaking mind. I saw what she did for Balaj. Like I watched her tell him their very first meeting. Never met each other. Never, didn't know who he was. And in a matter of 10 minutes, I was like, what? And everything she was saying was as if she knew him better than like all of us knew him. And I was like, how did you see this? Like, tell me more. And I ended up learning and going in session after session and basically was like, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. I have to learn this. There's something more to the universe. I just don't quite understand this. And my entire reality got turned upside down because it was like as if we were going backwards through time, and everything inside of our names was actually like lined up to our character and our personality. So what I've done is I've prepared this for you guys, and I promise you, this name and this experience of learning who you are will change the trajectory of everything in your life. You guys all shared with me your biggest challenge, the things you are going through, some of the stuff that was bothering you, or some of the things that you're experiencing. And I guess you guys didn't. Some of you guys sent it to me privately. I saw a theme, okay, of not feeling like I'm worth it. My voice isn't strong enough. I don't believe in myself. And the reason why I asked this is to, let you really come to terms with the fact that, hey, we want something more than what we are, where we want to grow into something better than we are. And for any of you guys have heard anybody talk about their time together with me, they're like, oh my God, you got to see Bobby, it's the craziest thing. And I'm like, yeah, it really is. And it's not like it's me, guys. It's not like it's me. I'm just the dancing monkey in front of the actual show here. I took the time to actually learn what these numbers mean and learn how to speak it as a language. And I'm learning how to become poetic with it. I want to speak it into emotional value that brings like a very strong, profound feeling of awareness into who you are. So you guys are in for a real big treat. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys something. This is our time together. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out here. And this is us. Okay, this is us. This is what our time together is going to look like. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see this. These are our names. This is our chart, okay? We have our full name at birth, our birthday, the life path. We have the name we go by on Facebook, and we have our business name. I noticed, Terry Lynn, your name is actually Terry Lynn Wolf, but you have both names, okay? So we're going to talk about both of them because, hey, if your business page is one way and this is the other way, it's good. So we have a value of what this looks like. I just want to let you guys know when when Tesh said, "Hey, let's do this," I was expecting this. Okay, I was expecting about this many people in a session. Can you imagine how much more personal attention you guys are going to get having this instead? This is so private. This is super intimate. This is going to be, and it just makes me feel like the universe works in very wonderful and super mysterious ways to think that this was time for you guys to really learn about what's happening inside of your charts and to move your guys forward into success, whatever direction that may look like. Wealth happens to be more than just financial. It's also health. It's also family. It's also experiences. It's how you look at yourself. It's not just how many dollars you have in a bank account. You can ask the richest people out there. They'll tell you for sure. Money isn't everything. Even Jim Carrey said, I wish everyone was rich, so they understood that it wasn't all about money. And that's the reality, is that wealth happens in so many different places. And here's where we get a chance to take a look at them. So I'm excited because this stuff is just, it thrills me. And because you guys are here, because you ladies are with me, we're all going to be able to learn from everybody else's chart. You guys are going to be able to see insight into everyone else. And it's going to be a very powerful feeling. Since we only have 4 of us, usually this information takes me about 3.5 hours to get through. But seeing as there's only 4 of us, I'm pretty sure that everyone's going to feel pretty satisfied after about 90 minutes. I'm anticipating that we go anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, okay guys, so back to business, back to the reality here. We are recording this, so you will have this to be able to use later, but I would love it. And it has to be unanimous that you guys are okay with me repurposing this for my media, whether it be using it in full, using it in part, but I want to share this with my network to let them know what an intimate session looks like. But you guys will have exclusive or like first access to this as soon as we get the recording. But what I was just telling everyone, Karen, while you were getting back online, was that I want to hear it from your mouth. I want to hear your words. I want to hear from your energy. What are we doing here? What are you like? Why are you guys in this business? What made you decide that you wanted to create something inside of your life? We'll start with Karen, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, Bobby.
Okay, you're on. Go for it.
I don't know where to start. I'm a mum of 4 kids. My oldest is 16, my youngest is 7 turning 8. Yeah, both my partner and I work where we live, high cost of living. A bottle of milk, you look at 2 liters of milk costing about $5 upwards. A loaf of bread, cheapest you can get is $5. Now, having 4 kids, it's pretty difficult to try and make ends meet. I actually work 2 jobs to try and keep, my head above water. Yep, both my partner and I work, but I've also got a side job as well. So, there's a lot of things that I do, and it is tiring. I find that I'm not spending enough time with my children, with my family. So, yeah, I guess being introduced to, the GAZ platform kind of opened up my eyes, thinking if I could do that, this could, help me find the time to spend with my children, with my family. And do the things that I want to do. One of my kids are in schooling in Sydney, so traveling from here down again is something that's really expensive, and we can't do it when he needs us. It's very, very difficult. We're looking at again, cost of airfares is so much. We haven't really been on a family holiday in so long, which is a downside as well. Yeah, there's just a lot of things. It's only the icing on the cake, I should say. For me, I've got just not my just my family, but also I guess my dad passed away 2 years ago. So having dad gone, the pressures of the mortgage with my mum and everything has fallen all back on me. So there's a lot of arguments, a lot of tension up there where I'm trying to keep the peace for them, and it's just it's doing my head in. I feel like running away, but if I could make this work, I could solve that problem up there and help them out a bit more. And it'll stop the arguments, stop all the fighting and the negativity. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for your loss, and I appreciate your honesty here. Just pulling up the chart here, you got a lot of power that's being unrecognized. Like you know it, you know that you can do this, and yet it's
Yep.
just it's choking. It's almost like the words don't come out properly, or that we're working too hard, not getting far enough. But we're gonna fix that. That's something that actually shows up that says, well, wait a second, you lock this in, and you're actually doing something pretty powerful. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. You're not the only person who has to deal with that. As soon as like tragedy happens in our life, you know, the real underside of what happens and happens. So we get a chance to see that. And I'm blessed to be here as like the starting point, the launch point for a seriously successful transition in your life. Don't give up on this. Okay. Please don't give up on this. You have to go all in with us. Absolutely. This is the business. You're in good hands. This is a family. Okay. This is a community of people who want to stand alongside with you. So I appreciate you sharing that, Karen. Do we have anybody else? If you want to unmute yourself, and then let's see who else wants to come in there. Okay. I'm going to voluntold Ange. You're unmuted. What's up?
Thank you. I was trying to figure out how to do that. I struggled for years. I divorced my husband and was a single mum for 3-4 years before I found my partner that I've got now. I don't ever want to go back there and struggle money-wise as much as we were. At the moment, it would just be nice to be able to do things that we would like to do and have more time as a family. Now there's 5 of us instead of 2. It's everything costs a lot more with 3 kids. Yeah, I'm struggling with leads at the moment. I'm getting loads of them, but no one wants to go any further than watching the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure. There must be a block there somewhere, but I'm not sure what that is and how to get past that. But I'm loving the self-improvement side of things, the gratitude, all of that stuff has just been amazing.
Cool. Now I'm looking at your chart, and we're going to go through this in a little bit more depth and detail, but I'm just basically seeing it right up front. You got a good power level of leadership, and it also has it's hiding underneath a bigger, stronger feeling of wanting to take care of others first. So there's a very powerful feeling of like you not being able to recognize your own power because of how much this service is to other people. This can be like, it's almost like putting a blindfold over yourself, where the leads are going to come in, they're going to see you, but the lack of your own posture towards them is what will start to fall from underneath, and you hit it right on the head. If you're loving the self-development and the personal growth, this is what's going to put you above, book by book, day by day, act by act, that you put more and more underneath you to raise your top level so that you can actually show up as the leader that you truly are destined to be. I'm assuming all of your guys' information is absolutely correct here, but on that, your Nichols name, is that a married last name from your current partner or from your
my previous partner?
Okay, and you're legally a Nichols?
Yeah.
You know, for all things considered, guys, or ladies, sorry, you know, sometimes relationships don't work. Okay, I get it. For all things considered, Ange, you got a great name in this. Okay, so you got a good name out of the deal. But if you are like looking to move this around, I do have options for you. Okay, so I appreciate you letting me know that. But you see inside there where it says Angela Marie Reese, this pesky little one that's sticking on the inside doesn't need. This is a negative one, where you have a very powerful one as a life path. This is going to be a very strong self-discovery journey for you. And I appreciate you so much for inviting me into your life like this. It's going to be very, very powerful. Who's next? How about Isabel or Terry Lynn? Okay, let's go. Isabel, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. I actually can't see what I wrote to you. I remember writing 5 things.
Yep.
Because they were in the other chat, which I can't now get into. Okay. So I don't know if you can find that at all, because I didn't save them anywhere else, funnily enough.
Sure. Let me see if I have it here.
Thank you.
It was from another group though, right? You were part of
called Larkham.
Larcom's chat, right?
Group alignment session. Yeah, because I'm under Serena.
Yeah, that's right. And let me see if I can find it. But
Thank you.
let's see here, search and conversation, and we'll just try yours. Yeah, because I had taken you out of there to put you in this one.
Yeah. Would you mind messaging it to me, for Bobby?
Yes, I can.
I've got a copy of it.
And then that way you have it here as well. Okay, so and maybe what I'll do is I will let you read this so that you can let us know. But I did find it, and let's do it like this. Okay, I've just sent that one back to you.
Awesome, thank you. Right, so my issues are getting my Facebook ad up. I actually wrote it a month before Christmas, basing it on what Serena gave to us as something we could all copy. And that was ready to go, but I could not place my Facebook ad. It just did my head in. I've worked with computers for the last 25, 30 years, but I cannot do this shit. And part of the problem is that I seem to be getting a bit dinosaur-like as I age. And if it's not something I've done before, it's hard to do now. So I haven't ever gotten this really good website going, for example. And because Facebook's changed so much since Jaden Easton recorded the training, because it is so different, I cannot make it work. Plus, as you can see, my business name is not my own name because I felt uncomfortable calling myself an entrepreneur or whatever it was that we have to, like public figure or something like that. So, and I liked the numerology of you can, end of story. I saw it in a meme or something. But obviously it's not good. And I've also felt really stifled and stopped ever since I've started the whole business. Nothing's really flowing. So as I've also written, I'm generally blocked in many areas and I don't feel like I've ever been successful before. So I'm unused to that. And I'm feeling of a lack of emotional support from my boyfriend and family. I've actually broken up with that boyfriend last weekend, which we are both cool with. It's a happy split. And we're going to continue to be friends. And my family, I so wouldn't even be telling them that. What's the matter, Bobby? Why is that funny?
Oh, well, pretending to be friends. I thought that was cute.
Oh, not pretending. We are going to be friends.
Oh, I thought you said pretending to be friends.
No. We're probably better off friends. Numerologically, we weren't supposed to get further than that, so I'm not surprised it didn't work. And my family, my parents are quite conservative, and I'm probably the most entrepreneurial one. I've always wanted to do something different. I've never known what I wanted to do when I've grown up, and I just want to have an online passive income. It seems to me the only intelligent thing to do in this day and age, and I'm sure you all agree.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, and I can see some serious power. You have some absolute serious power. To not recognize it can be very frustrating. So I'm starting
to. I've had that message from a few other people lately, so that's pretty cool.
Well, and you know, to be fair, this 988 number here that we're seeing inside of your original name, it is the most difficult number to hold, and it is also the most powerful number that's out there. So you could literally be right on track of that. I'm saying that it could be taking that much amount of time to actually create that power and that posture. But we also look at these being like nowhere near the ability of what your name properly is. So these are all outfits that don't actually fit. So whether it be Isabel H. Ting, H. Ting, or UCAN and Story, they're not actually aligning to who you authentically are. So it will feel a bit of a mismatch. This is what we look to do, is we actually want to create names for business and names for Facebook that make you guys feel like, oh my God, this fits. And this is actually something I can use. And like, I'm not blocked by my limiting beliefs anymore. So I appreciate you sharing this with me. I am so looking forward to seeing what you can do with this, because I know you've got hustle and passion, and I know you've got a steady hand, and you have a very strong vision for what can happen forward. That's stuff we can work with, okay? So,
Bobby, can I just ask, I see that your name is written in black and white along the bottom, but that surely doesn't mean that you've got severe challenge.
No, I just put it in there so you guys have some frame of reference. But if we were to quickly just put this in there, it would basically look like that. Let's say, or maybe we'll just do it like this and make it look the same. So it would be like, this would be a severe challenge. And then my new name that I have now would be one that actually works for me. And we'll put that as a purple. So I do have some power in it now. And then I guess we'll color this one just as a life path. So I mean, and I have some stuff going on as well too. My name didn't work very much at the beginning. I fought myself a lot. There's a lot of self-sabotage and nobody knew. So there was a lot of quiet lack of communication. But within me, it was just always like I was my own punching bag. And then when it came into business without this letter F, I had the business vibe, but it just ended up giving it to everyone else and not serving me. And that was one of the most difficult things that I had to really come to terms with. When I look at a chart, guys, now this is a different look. Okay, so we're looking at 5 people all at once. If I just take a look at one person, okay, let's just take a look at one person. I get a chance to see names on names on names. We get a chance to see your middle name separately, your first name separately, your maiden name, married names, and also your birthday is more expanded out. Actually, this one I still see. But most of this stuff we're not going to take a look at. Inside of our time together, we look at the original name you were born with, the name you're using today, and then the name we're using for business. So we have some serious power inside of connecting on a personal level. Seeing as we've got a shorter roster today, we may actually end up going into more of these deeper places. And I'm feeling like we could. I'm not going to force anyone to want to share that stuff. That's a little bit harder than usual to go about, but you would be doing your audience, my audience, my growth a huge favor if we were able to be this authentic online. And I appreciate you guys sharing your story so much. How about Terry? How about Terry Lynn? Sorry, is Terry okay, or do you like Terry Lynn better? Let's unmute you. Hello.
Either or, doesn't matter. Well, yeah, my family and that call me Terry. Normally, just professionally, I use my full name, Terry Lynn. But if we look at the chart and red is bad, all of my names are red.
Well, actually, let's put it this way.
Like, is red bad because all of my names are red?
These ones are all going to move powerfully. This side, the full name, was actually something I'm coding on. This is so, I know it's going to be super confusing here, guys, but there are 2 sets of numbers here. When I look at these, I'm looking at your name here. I know immediately this is a number 3. I know immediately this is a number 8. I know immediately this is a 6. This would be a 2, and my name would be a 7. So it's your original name isn't actually like red. Actually, yeah, it is. You're right, because it's still red here. But don't worry. Do not worry, because we will move that forward. And you and me both, sister. Honestly, like mine was all red before it was as well. And so it's something that we all deal with.
Okay.
You guys don't get a choice in your name you're born with. So just so you understand, like you were inherited this from a mix of our parents' egos. Remember, Isabel was telling me that her middle name is a male Chinese name. So she was like, that's offering a bit of confusion. Well, because Dad's like, screw it, it's going to put it on there anyway. It's like, you can't, it's like, wait a second. And so we can't really identify or take ownership of this stuff because it's given to us. In a time where we're searching for identity, we're immediately going to think, well, that's who I am. And I mean, I did it with my son. I named him after me. I named him after my dad, after my father-in-law. So there's a value in there that says but of course I knew numerology. So I knew that his name was going to work. I absolutely knew the balance of it. So I gave him a power. But if you don't mind, maybe we can continue with your story there. Don't worry about having all red names.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I'm a widow. And I've got 4 kids under the age of 10 or 10 and under. I've been widowed for 5 years now, and I've grown a lot throughout this 5 years. And like I started my own little business, like baking brownies and stuff, and it's great. And I wanted to I was introduced to the business by my twin sister, and I saw the value in it, but I feel like I can do it. Like, absolutely, I know that I can do it, but it's organizing my brain to, I don't know, to actually be able to do it, because I feel just so stressed out all the time. Like trying to organize my life, my children, you know, my own personal business, and then trying to get this as well so that I can actually live a proper future that I, you know, the kind of life that I want to live and not have to slave all the time. Yeah, I think that's where my biggest block is. And I can feel it, that I want to push forward, but I just feel like I can't. There's like a roadblock, and yeah, I'm just not able to. And so when I jumped on the call, like, I really don't keep up with too much with the business. I kind of like have to stabilize my income right now before I can move forward properly with the business, just because I don't have anyone else to support me financially. And I don't really have too much family help or anything. So yeah, when I saw the call with you on it, Bobby, I was like, well, if this is what it takes for me to move forward, I just want to do it. I just want to get it over and done with, find out what's wrong with me, what I'm doing wrong. That's a block that I have in life in general. Like, I don't know what it is. So I don't know if that like reflects into relationships as well, and you know, that sort of thing. I have no idea, because I've been single for 5 years. So I don't know.
It absolutely relates back to relationships. Relationships, again, they're not just romantic. They're also social, familial, community, business, relationship you have with yourself. And my heart just like, it rips open for you guys to think that we're all like it's like we're all dealing with the feelings of everything that's happened around us, sort of like brick by brick, just like coffining us down. And we're just like, oh my God, I need to get back to the surface here. I need to get back to my power. And you guys are, I don't know how to explain this. Because I'm here with you guys are giving my life value and my life purpose and my life meaning, because you guys are inviting me in here and trusting me with your story. I will cradle and do this as much justice and as much honor as I possibly can. And please, guys, if you have any questions along the way, you let me know. What I want to do is I want to oh, sorry. Are you? Oh, I got unmute. Everyone's muted. So if you want to,
I just had to mute myself because my children came in. Go out.
No worries. I've got 4 kids. I understand the pain. I know what they're like. I know it's like, and we've got a newborn, a 2, a 4, and a 6-year-old. So it's a busy house. And so I get it. If you guys need to be interrupted or there's going to be something happening in the background, please mute yourself. If you feel like you can handle the noise and it would be nice to be unmuted so you can speak freely, then please, by all means, be unmuted, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a group reading. Now, numerology in my corner of the world, or my corner of my spirituality in my mind, numerology happens in 2 sections, okay? The very first part of this is going to be resolved around your name that you have. Okay, so we're going to look at it like this. And this is the part 1, is the reading of your chart and the understanding of it. Sure, I mean, you know, we have difficulty in our names. Like, look at Karen's name is good up front, but then on business, it starts to take a dive. Angie's got a really powerful name, but she's still feeling blocked. So we've got to figure something that may be a little bit more appropriate for her, or a little bit more in line with the way she wants to grow into. Isabel's not feeling Jimmy. I mean, yes, you like the name. It will work, but you mentioned this feeling of being blocked and this feeling of not moving forward, or this feeling of being pulled back. That's what a 4 will do. And you having a master level of number 8s in your chart, that's a little suffocating for your ambition, if you will. So we're going to hopefully have something that shows up a little bit more powerful there. And then we've got Terilyn's numbers. They're ending in 3. But you see, Terilyn Wolf, your name starts with an 8. And you have a life path 1. no wonder you know and you think you can do this, and it's the same. You know what I mean? Like the 1 says, I can see it, and the 8 says, well, obviously, let's go and get it done. But then the 3s are going to say, no, it's okay. I just got to serve everyone else and make everything look okay and just keep up this whole feeling of everything is all good, when really that 8 inside of us is being challenged. Inside of numerology, the 6 and the 8 are our target numbers. So if you're thinking, oh crap, I haven't got neither of them, Carolyn's looking at like, well, where's my 6 and where's my 8? That 1/8's there and it's squeezing itself down. 6 stands for money and love in combination, long-term money and love, like relationship, partnership, marriage. 8 stands for magnetism and wealth and in business. Every other number adds a flavor or a challenge or an opportunity to this. So what I want to do is I want to introduce you guys to the 9 numbers. I'm just going to quickly see, do we have them all between us, okay? So I see we have 1s, we've got 2s, there are 3s in here. 22 is also a 4, okay? So we have 4s in here. We've got 5s, I see 5, I see 6s. We have 7s, I see 8s, of course, 9s, then I see 11s, I see 22s. So this will be relevant to all of us, at least at a portion. But let's not forget, a full chart goes much, much deeper. So what happens if I start talking about a 6 or an 8 and Carolyn's like, well, that feels like me. I'm not measuring Carolyn separately. I'm not measuring Moana separately. I'm not measuring Wolf separately. So there are abilities for you guys to have some of these numbers that may not be showing up in this string, and yet you still feel like, well, shoot, that looks like me. So if that does come up and you guys are like, hey, that sounds like me a lot, pay attention to that. That could be uncovered through a personal reading or a personal chart. And because you guys are all here, I offer you guys exclusive discounts to work with me one-on-one. You at the end of this, you will not need to work with me one-on-one. We are going to give you exactly what you need. You're going to get the name that's going to work for you, and you're going to get that magnetic move into the right direction. You're also going to get written reports. Now, the written reports are a full owner's manual of your life. Like, man, I wish I had this when I was going through puberty, when I was a small kid and I was just trying to figure myself out in the world. To know this knowledge, and I go back and I read it every few months, and I'm just like, man, universe, you got me so good. Like, how do you know me so well? And that feeling is, I'm looking at this being like, who am I even talking to? Like, how is it that this stuff knows me? So by the end of this, we get a chance to change the story. How about part 2? How about part 2, where we actually get a chance to look and see, this is what we got to look at. This is the table, okay? So we've got a buffet, and we're gonna take a look and see, does Ange want to take an initial in her name? I went for low-hanging fruit with this stuff, guys. I basically took your first name, your last name as you have it, and I started plugging initials into it. These are the numbers that work, okay? These are the ones that show up. And if any of you guys are like, Bobby, I don't know what these numbers mean, it is the vowels in your name plus the consonants in your name equal the total of the vibration. So if I take A, I, O, I add them together. A is 1, I is 9, O is 6. That's 16, right? 1 plus 6 equals 7. Then if I take N, D, H, L, L, S, I add that together. Please don't make me do that. It'll equal out to 8. So I put 7 plus 8 together, and it equals number 6. So seeing as it's showing up in the mastery vibe, I'm going to give it a purple number. This is a good number. I take a male version of this. So I know exactly what Ange is going through. Her and I have a very, very similar number. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to shift your vibe if you want to shift it. Now, in a case like Isabel's case, I would be taking Isabel Ting, and I would either be putting 1 H, a letter A, a J, an S, a Q, a Z. So we're going to talk about the difference between this so you guys can have a really good, solid understanding for which one feels like me. Imagine we're all at the mall, guys, okay? We're all going to shop for new outfits. We're going to the same party. It's the Penthouse VIP at the Freedom Fest. I wish I was going. Are any of you guys not going to Freedom Fest? Is it just me? Or are you guys all going to be there? Like, what's the deal? Is everybody going? No? Okay, fine. If you are going, please hug everyone for me. If you're not going, I will see you at the next one, okay? I was at the Blueprint, and it was just a show and a half, And looking back at it now, I'm like, I got baby boy, I have family, I'm just gonna stay here. So if you are going, absolutely enjoy it. If you're not, don't worry, we're gonna go to the next one, but I'm crying with you, okay? So but this vibration shift will shift a lot of the things inside of your chart or inside of your life. We're going to get there in part 2. That's the part that takes so long, okay? So the reason why we're not going to have to hang out for that long is because there's only 4 of us. So we're not going to have to be like, oh, shoot, it's 3 hours and we still have another half an hour to go, which is what usually happens in a big sesh. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce you guys to your chart. And if there are any questions, we're going to see them. What I'd like you guys to understand is we're going to put these goggles on or these glasses on to think, I'm going to look at myself for the very first time from an outsider's perspective. And we're going to disassociate from the mental anguish and the emotional pain of things that happen to break us down. And I hope that you guys find yourselves and find the beauty in your spiritual reflection. Just so you guys know, not one thing is wrong with any of you. You guys are absolutely perfectly put together, to the point even where my messenger goes off to remind us that we're actually it's 11:11. Okay, so my wife just messaged me saying, hey, it's 11:11. So, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's my local time. So I'm the one talking. It's my angels. But the angel numbers are to say exactly what needs to be said, is that what you're going through is intended. Who you are is part of your perfection. So if you're showing up being frustrated, being like, man, I can't get this thing figured out, I don't understand what's going on, just know that there is a method to the madness. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why the direction of your cart in life, it's like bumping on the road. We're about to put it on a fine road. We're about to upgrade your carriage to a sweet ride. You're going to get a chance to actually move forward and powerful inside a business. I still have one more going. So I'm just going to quickly just say that I love my sweetheart. Love you. And Karen, I think that's you messaging me now. Can I please jump back on my phone? Yes, you can. Absolutely you can. You've got the link. So if you want to just press on the link back on your phone, then that way you can be there with us and not be a black screen. I would love it, okay? Because we are recording, and of course, you guys are part of history here. This is your own personal legend, your own personal destiny. So let's take the tour. Every number has a positive. Every number has a negative side to it. The more we see red numbers, the more we're going to see if it's green, blue, or purple, okay, and they're in these 3 spots, then they're going to be the positive sides of the numbers. If it shows up in red, they're going to be the negative side of the numbers, or yellow. This one's a little bit of an interesting situation. But I would suggest, Isabel, that we rework your name for your business page, okay? So we'll talk about that when we get there. But when we're talking about the positive side of the 1, we see a Life Path Leader 1 inside of Terilyn, and we see inside of Ange, okay? So when we're taking a look at Life Path 1, the number that we see here is going to be based on leadership. Now, Isabel's got leadership inside the middle of her chart. These 3 numbers that you see, guys, are all related to the 3 paths or the 3 chapters that you roll it through in life. So in terms of Ange and Terilyn, you guys have a Life Path 1, which make you guys natural born leaders. When it comes to myself, when it comes to Isabel, there is a section of our lives between 27 and 55 where we show up with a sensation of, I got to do what's right for me, and I got to take care of this, and I'm in charge. So there's a leadership stage or a leadership third in our life, but the positive sides of the 1, independent. They're going to be in control. So they need to be in control. They want to have control and power. These are not numbers that are going to be easily happy in jobs, even if the job is good. What happens if the job is good or the employer is good? Guess who's getting promoted? They're going to see your guys' potential before you will and want to raise you guys up, and you'll naturally rise to the top with positive 1s. Just because your life path shows up with the 1 where it shows up in here doesn't mean it's a positive, okay, guys? It just means that there is a strong capability to being above the rest, leading the pack, having people wanting to follow you, and you need to have that strong vision and clarity for your direction. I knew this because we'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about the 6, very loving and caring and giving, and oh my gosh, whatever you need shows up inside of the 6. When I turned 27, I was like, hey, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I got to do what's right for myself. I got to do, and then I can hear, Ange and Terilyn being like, damn straight you do. Absolutely. Because that feeling is inside of them that says, I am number one. I need to be. And so we're going to teach you guys how to be selfish, because right now the world's telling you not to be. The world says, oh my God, that's so distasteful. If you don't recognize and step up to your own power, the universe isn't going to respond to you guys. So we are absolutely critical of that reality, that we have to show up with our armor on. We have to show up that we know what we're going in, that we don't care if you follow us or not, because we understand that we're going to be going in that direction anyway. It's confidence. On the negative side, can quickly turn to arrogance. It can quickly turn into feeling like we're too good for others, or that we don't care about others, or I'm just going to do this thing by myself, or I'm just going to go off into my own life and I don't need anyone. And then it gets even further down where we don't even recognize ourselves, and we disassociate from ourselves on such a huge level that we're too, like Angela Marie Reese, that -1 is Ange is not going to be able to recognize who she is. Ange, when I'm looking at your numbers in there, that -1 on the inside of your chart, and then the life path 1, it's going to be an identity battle where the -1 in there will not be, people will, oh, you're so sweet, you're so awesome, thank you so much for being here, and this and that, you're how do you do it? And you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I don't, and it won't even be able to acknowledge the compliment, because that number there is the -1. It's like I'm blindfolded to myself. So, and then Terilyn, with your name showing up, that's the same thing that you're dealing with. So I'm not sure if you're still using this anywhere, but the reality is that -1 can be a disassociation from self, and we're not gonna.
Yeah, that's my married name, but I put my my maiden name back on to the business just because I wanted to keep my kids, like private, and I didn't want to associate their last name with it.
Absolutely. That's completely okay. You guys are allowed to come up with any name you want, and we've got the time. So in case you guys do not feel comfortable using one name or another, we're good. We are good. We're still going to find something that works for you in business. So what we'll see here in this one is a leader. Okay. This is the theme of that conversation. When we get a chance to look at 2s, we've got life path 1s, 5, 7, and myself as an 11, or actually I'm the 2. Because 11 is a mastery version of 2, but we have a 2 name in Terilyn. We have a 2 inside of Ange's year, 1982. Also inside of Ange's name, inside of Karen's name. Okay, so we've got 2s here. Terilyn's a 2. I've got a 2 on the inside. 2 stands for partnership. Even Isabel's showing up here. When we see 2s, we see partners. We see people who work well with others. Sometimes a little bit too well. Sometimes we accommodate a little bit more than we should. Sometimes we just give up on what's important to us just so that we can help other people first. That's that like oppositeness of selfish. Now we're like, oh my God, now my identity is going to be dependent on how someone else perceives me. Seeing as Karen is the only one who's got a powerful 2 in her chart, but other than that, the positive side of the 2, she's going to be a good coach. She's a good friend. When you talk to this person, she's going to be there for you. You talk to any one of Karen's friends, and they're going to stand up for her because she's always there for them. Whereas the negative sides of the 2, we're running to serve other people at the expense of ourselves. Oh, forget me. Forget what's important to me. And I mean, and Karen, you're not excluded from that because your 6 will do that for you as well. But the nice thing about this is that, your 2 shows up as a positive. You're the only one of us who's a positive 2. The rest of us, the 2 inside of Ange's numbers and Terilyn's numbers here and Isabel's numbers as well, they're showing up in a -2, in a negative partnership where we're running after the approval of other people. On the positive side, we're going to be there for people more than we're there for ourselves. It's a gift and a curse. And so, whether you find value in that or you're like, aha, see, I told you I should be taking care of myself more, that's probably more Terilyn and Anne speaking there. But the reality is that those numbers are showing up not working towards our total benefit. I have them in alignment. For some people, you may not need to take it. There are ways to express partnership at the higher level. When we look at numerology, 1, 2, and 3 are the 3 first numbers. They're junior numbers. So when we get a chance to see this, we're seeing very local concepts that are very in the present moment. So we're going to take a look now at the number 3. If we have questions, guys, you let me know, okay? You can feel free to unmute yourself or drop in the chat. It's no big deal. Actually, I don't think I see the chat. So you have to unmute yourself to do that. So when we take a look at number 3, here's where we get a chance to see the darling, the sweetheart. Okay, Tara Lynn shows up here. Big kid. There's going to be a value of just enjoyability. Tara Lynn Wolf has got 3s everywhere. She's very pretty. That feeling of I just want to look good and feel good. I want to enjoy. I don't want things to get so serious. And when you're dealing with the death of someone, putting on that sweet face for the world is a symbol of strength. There's a saying out there where it's like, I guess it's intended for women. It says, if you're having a bad day, you just throw on some lipstick and put on some gangster rap and we're good and just keep it moving. And that feeling is inside of there. It's just like when you look good, you feel good, okay? So if you guys have got 3s in your chart, then we're going to definitely find value in looking good, feeling good, enjoying, spending money, having a great time, social atmosphere. This is where the start to show up. In the negative 3, okay? The negative sides of the 3, who's got them? Isabel, Tara Lynn, Angela, where else do we see it? They show up as people who will absolutely sacrifice themselves for others. They will push their own needs to the side for things that don't matter. So your own personal needs are being dismissed for the whims of people who are probably not even that important at this time. That can be a little frustrating. It can also lead us into indulgence, like overindulgence into food, sex, drugs, alcohol, you name it. That feeling of needing to dumb down so that we can feel human again can be one of the most powerful things that destroy us. And the 3 is just like, oh, it's all good, no worries, and just wants to keep a nice even keel and just keep everybody happy. When inside I was not doing so good. When inside I was damaging myself through. In my case, it was drugs, sex, and food, and wasting my time on video games. It was just a really negative place that I was in my life. But hey, I was depressed, so I wanted to feel good. I didn't want to have to deal with what was going on. So I just wanted. I mean, I have a 3s in my chart as well. That's deeper inside of my names. So what we take a look in is this value of and you ask other people, great person to be around. You're a squeeze. You give the best hugs. You guys are singing and humming along, and there's just love in the air. And these people will be easy to find dates and love and enjoyable social atmosphere. And so for numbers that aren't expressing that, like Tara's like, oh, I've been single for 5 years. That feeling is like, hey, wait a second, but you would be like, someone's gonna have hearts in their eyes for you, and you're just gonna be like, no, I'm pushing my own needs and just gonna kind of go into I got things to do. Okay, so that feeling can show up there where it's sad because people want to enjoy the beauty of you, but we're not even enjoying the reality of ourselves. And this is where numerology really can start to help even out some of those wrinkles in our clothing, right? When we're just trying to dress nice and we got our clothes doesn't look too good, and that'll hurt the 3 more than anyone else, because the 3 is all about the aesthetic appeal. They want to look sharp. So you guys dress up, you guys are going to be like showstoppers. Okay, so it's a powerful feeling inside of that number. Artists, singers, dancers, cooks, creators, artists, writers, right? Whatever it is that shows up in your 3, it would be a very valuable place to unload a little bit of stuff you can post on your page that will help people to love you, like you, know you, and trust you a little bit more. Just because you don't see a 3 in your chart, it doesn't mean you don't have it, okay? It doesn't mean that you don't feel aligned to it. So don't feel like I'm not talking to you just because if you don't have your number in that certain spot. I believe that we all learn from, we're all a big rainbow. And so, you have to learn from that. And then there's a reason why you ladies are showing up for each other. And I appreciate that we're doing this. Let's talk about the junior or the intermediate numbers. So that was imagine the numbers go 1, 2, 3, and then you turn around the road, and then you enter the 4, 5, 6 lane, and then we'll turn again and we'll enter the 7, 8, 9, and there's even 11 and 12 at the top on the cloud somewhere. But the reality shows up that now we've exited the junior numbers. Let's get into the intermediate numbers. These numbers 4, 5, and 6, they want to see something happen. They want to see like a cause and an effect. The 1, 2, and 3 are like, what do you mean reaction? Let's just go out there and express, and let's just be there and do stuff. Whereas now the 4, 5, and 6 are offering a little bit more of the, I want something to happen now, and let's figure that out, and then something will result of this. So it's a two-way punch. So in terms of the number 4, we're seeing Karen's got a powerful 4 in her chart. Isabel's got a difficulty in the 4 of her business name. I'm going to double check that, because you told me that the numerology was good on this. So and there are like as many different numerological languages as there are Latin languages. Okay, so there's a few of them. And whether this one is I just wanted to make sure that I didn't do it right. I didn't do it wrong. You can, end of story. So yes, okay. So when I write this out inside of the way that I write numerology, it doesn't have the entrepreneur number that you're looking for. So we may be looking at changing that. But the 4s are going to, and Karen again has a powerful 4 in her that works. Karen's won the 4 lottery. Okay. The positive side of the 4 will be organizational skills. It's going to be a little bit of a flat line of emotion at some places, where it's just going to be like discipline. Okay. Like a backbone. The 6 and the 2 inside of Karen's name, super squishy, very lovey, give me a hug, but you can't push this thing far enough afterwards. Once it gets to the core, we have a value in there that says, no, stop. I got bone underneath here. It's like flesh is the fun part, and then the bone is the part that keeps you together. That's the 4. It's going to keep strong and stable. And that feeling wants to actually have a powerful level of stability. Now, Elizabeth was born in a 4 year. That's a 22. So you've got a very large area now to do some mastery work of like engineering capability. We'll talk about the 22 when we get there. It's the larger version of the 4. But when we see 4s, practical people, they're logical people. They may have had to take a little bit more of a deep breath. I'm spiritual. Okay, I'm going to do this weird thing. If it works for business, I'm in. Because the 4s are kind of a little bit more like, what is this? Like, show me your math. How did you get that? I want to learn more about this. They're going to be curious about the detail, and they absolutely want to know how you got to that. So when we see 4s, we want to show our work. This can be a little bit slower. With the 4, it's like it cranks. Okay, so we're now entering the value of wealth. 4 stands for someone who's going to go and work hard. They're going to work a little bit too hard. It may be very close to the feeling of their soul being sucked out of them by their job, or feeling like this isn't how I want this to be. I want to have more wealth than this. How come I'm stuck behind my limiting beliefs? And Isabel said this perfectly. She's like, if I haven't done it before, then I don't go there, because there's no integrity. There's no experience there. How do you know what you're talking about? You're going to show up like a Yahoo, but people are not going to even take you seriously. So when you have powerful 4s in there, it's like, no, trust me, I've studied this. I know this. I took the test. I built this myself. I know exactly how this thing works. I was there every single time, and I was taking notes. So these are the people who want to take notes a lot. They're a very valuable field. So we are recording this in case you don't want to, but the feeling of having the 4 in your chart, like, and unfortunately in Elizabeth's or Isabel's situation, it ain't anywhere except for her business name. She's got a powerful level of passion, hustler, leadership, business, entrepreneur, and then end of story, says, let me crank this thing one step at a time. And it's like, man, I need like a monkey to do this. Like, that's what the monkeys do, right? They just crank stuff and they press the buttons. Whereas the 988 in you is the vision of thinking, where do we take this ship? What's the vision of our business in the future? How are we going to get this done? And so there's a powerful number in that. And I definitely feel the pain of the 4, because if you see this, I put it here. works too hard. Okay, that's what a yellow name means. Works way too hard. While everyone else is figuring it all out, all the fours in yellow are kind of like, man, I keep on hammering this thing, but how come it's not working? It's like you got to get 50 people hammering at the same time. You're like, I know, but I'm trying to be the first one. It can get a little laborious, and the feeling of like, man, this is taking way too long. Whereas we take a look at numbers like inside of Karen's number 4, Carolyn's number 4, or Karen, your 4 here, we see, and then Carolyn Wolf has a 4 in there as well. These 4s, actually, we're going to exclude these 2. Okay, so 246 and 854. This is a power in business hustle and also in stability and structure. And then we also see, wait a second, I think I've got a message here. Is that Isabel messaging me? Yeah. How about it? Just give me back. Okay, cool. No worries. So we'll make sure that we don't try to cover too much while she's gone. But, okay, so we've got 4s in here. In the positive, stable, structure. Stability is a very, very big thing about this. Foundation, laying it down for people is really powerful as well. My wife or my fiance is a life path 4. Without her, nothing gets done. Okay, so there's a powerful feeling of consistency that we see in this. On the negative side, you guys work too hard. We're on the negative side of limiting beliefs. It feels like these things are like huge blocks. I just can't seem to get over myself. That negative 4 is like, if I haven't done it, I don't know what to do. If I haven't been there, I don't know what to say. It's like, this isn't for me. This doesn't work for people like me. Oh, I don't know. Nobody's going to listen to me. I don't know what to say on an ad. It's like, wow, relax. The 4 just wants to work hard and screw you out of the deal. Just wants to be like, no, you don't need to do business. You need to go and get a solid paycheck and just work really hard and, pay the bills. So when we see powerful 4s, the bills are getting paid. Okay. But when we see negative 4s, you're probably working pretty too hard for them. Welcome back, Izzy. Can we do that? Is that okay? Or do you like Isabel? Or is it Belle or Bella or Beth or is Elizabeth? I've got my original name is Belwant. Okay, so I go by Bal, Bobby, B, Bob, whatever you call me. It's all good. But yeah, so we were just talking about the negative side of the 4 being a little bit more tougher on us than we'd like it to be. It can really screw in that negative mindset. And we don't even feel like it's negative. We just feel like we're not open-minded. It just says, if you can't prove it, then I don't want to hear it. So it's that feeling of we need to show our work. And you're also in a very large part of the 4 as of the age of 55. So we'll show you the blessing behind this. But let's talk about the 5. Okay. Now the 5 shows up in a powerful way inside of Karen's numbers and inside of Elizabeth's numbers. In my numbers, they absolutely suck. And as well, Isabel H. Ting, with a double H in there. This is not working towards your advantage. And this can, and as a life path 5 with a name like this, we're gonna call this lightly, okay? The 5 is a warrior. These are travelers. These are people who are absolutely passionate. You do not want to say the wrong thing in front of them because they will absolutely tell you what it is and where to put it on which day. They absolutely know exactly what they're feeling. And the 5 shows up as they're going to be, strong-minded to stand up for the people that they believe in, even more than themselves. Okay, so when you see a 5, you in your family, it's probably the safest place to be when they're protecting you. And if you see a 5 and they want to fight with you, drop everything and run. You do not want to argue against someone like this because you like Isabel. You can attest to this. You've got success locked. Like there is no other option. You are absolutely going to get it hell or high water. You're going to figure this out. Like, oh my God, like, and anyone who stands in your way, they've got a powerful thing happening to them. The problem is that this is turning against you and you're the one fighting yourself. So we've got a very reversed stage, like the knives are pointing back at us and we're like, no, we want to point them out so we can fight with them, not fight ourselves with them. And this is what happens. In my case, wait till you see the 7, no communication. 5, self-sabotage, creating negative relationships inside of the 2. Guess what I was doing with my time? It wasn't pretty. So the feeling is of that self-sabotage that I was dealing with. It can show up inside of this name. It can show up. Where else did we see it? Nowhere. Good. Okay. Other than that, we do see a very powerful life path 5 among us, which is we're right behind where I'm standing right behind that. because I know that's the safest place, is right behind your sword and shield. Once you become allies, you will fight for me, and absolutely that's a feeling that we know, is that this woman is very passionate about the people she cares about. Inside of Karen's 5, see how we got it in between these numbers, the ultimate number of wealth, the ultimate number of foundation. Karen's going to hustle. She's going to move outside of her comfort zones pretty easily. She's going to say, oh, no worries. You know what? Sure, give me the challenge. I'll take it on. No big deal. That 5 in there will be a powerful feel. I would still like to upgrade it, because we don't want to be like, like a jack in the box trying to create our wealth. And it's like, when is this thing going to pop? Because the 5 is like, I'm not going to stop cranking this thing. And the 4 is like, well, that's how you make wealth. You got to crank it. And the 8's like, ladies, come on here. We gotta figure out like a plan of action, you know, like an actual mastermind thing. We don't want to just be stuck doing the job all day, even though I'm really good at it. It's not going to actually serve me. So you're probably like the smartest person on your payroll with a name like that. You're going to definitely have the feeling of wanting to be an entrepreneur, but invariably goes back down into the 4. That 5 is about passion and running. It doesn't want to sit still. So it's going to definitely want to move around. If in case you have the clickies with the pen, or you have the tappies, or you always got to be doing something, fidget spinners, whatever you call them, that 5 just wants to keep things in motion. And again, can show up argumentative. This can be a gift and a curse, but on the negative side, it can lead to self-sabotage. So when the numbers aren't balancing out, they can end up, the attack turns into me. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of this. Stupid me. No wonder nobody wants to do business. Man, I can't believe this. What did I even get myself into? Now I'm just going to pay for this like I do everything else. The 5s can be chasing debts. They can be chasing negative stories about themselves, but they are our fighters, okay? I believe my father-in-law is a Life Path 5. He's like undefeated. Okay, they call him the Wrecking Crew or something like that. And it was crazy. He was an actual fighter. And it shows up inside of a chart. When we see 5s, we see some powerful numbers for people who are not going to take things sitting down. Now, the next number we see is the Goldilocks number. Now, there's a gift and a curse to this. I'm just going to see, does anybody have, in my opinion, well, my quick little recognition of your chart, nobody has a -6 in anything I can see, but I would imagine that we all have -6s in our charts somewhere. The -6 and the +6. The +6, this is the most highly coveted number in all of numerology, okay? We're going through the chakras here. The 1 would be like the base, right? The sense of self, the I am. This is your identity. This is your gut. A little bit lower than it, your center of being, where you ground to the earth. And the 6 is now raised all the way up to the heart. So we have a heart-based center here, which is equal distance from the soul to the top, equal distance from the body to the bottom. The 6 works with every single number, okay? It is a very powerful numerological master key. The problem with the 6 is that we're going to sacrifice ourselves in order to achieve that balance between money and love. We're talking about money and love here, two of the most powerful things that people ever care about. The money part shows up as a value of 4, 6, and 8, whereas love shows up as a value of 3, 6, and 9. So when you see 6 in both areas, it's the convergence. So we have people who need to have powerful relationships, as well as powerful family, as well as powerful monetary relationships. Everything needs to be even keel. If everything isn't, it'll look good, but guess who isn't serving themselves? The 6, -6, we don't take care of ourselves. We just take care of everyone else first. Like me and Ange here, we've got 6s in our birthday, so there's a very strong feel for wanting to serve other people, be the mom or the dad of design, be super loyal, even loyal to a fault. It can take on a lot of abuse before it decides this isn't for me. And you even get a powerful version of the 6 instead of Ange Nichols. The problem with that, Ange, is that it takes a long time to live up to that number. So in case you're in this for the long haul, you're like, great, so what? Who cares? I'm ready to do this. You may be looking at wanting to put something a little bit more applicable. I don't know if there's a negative connotation to your ex-husband's last name. You get a chance to decide all of this stuff. I mean, the name could be great, but if you're like, yeah, but he was a jerk, then you may not want to run it. So we'll talk about that when we get to your name. But that's the number I use. It's one of the most powerful vibes I can give. You may still be looking for something more. So I'm not going to, tell you how to live your life. I'll just share with you what outfits are available when we get there. But the 6, communicators, they're leaders, they're responsible, they're parents, they're people who want to get married and have love and be in love. Okay, so in case that's any of you guys and you're wanting to find the love desire or the love design of the destiny of love in your life, but you don't want to give up on your business, you're going to take a 6 in your chart. Like, look what I did. Yay. I have a 6 name now. And it means that I was going to balance half on family, half on my relationship, half on business. That doesn't make mathematical sense as one and an extra half. But the value in there is to think that I do want everything to be even. I can't have one take off after the other. So as my relationship grows, my business better be growing. If not, my relationship is going to start to fall. Same thing with my relationship. My business has to get better as well. It's not just one or the other. So I'm blessed. My wife also wants to, she's an aspiring entrepreneur as well. So I felt, and that was the problem with most of my relationships. When I got into them, I'm like, man, they're either dogging my business, they don't believe in it, they've got their own, they're trying to sell me their thing instead, and it's not connecting. I'm like, this isn't going to work, because I knew as a June baby that I needed to have those things in balance. So very, very powerful stuff. How about the 7? Now here we've left the intermediate numbers, and we're going to go into the advanced numbers now. This is the top of the block. After this, we go into mastery. And after mastery, we basically are going to talk about how to balance these names out. So we've got, if you guys need to go to the bathroom, it's all good. Just basically go and run and come back, and it's all good. But absolutely, if you've got water, that would be a really great thing to have beside you. I drank a lot before I got here, so that's my excuse. I don't have any. Actually, yes, I do. I'm just going to quickly grab it here because it is here. And besides, Karen's gone to the bathroom, so we've got a couple of extra seconds to do this. Just going to pull my water up for you guys. And let's start talking about the 7. We're going to enter into... Hey.
Excuse me, Bobby. Would you mind just switching the screen over so we can see the numbers that you've suggested for us?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Let's do this. I want to keep them in screen, and I actually wanted to... Such a classic 5. You're like, no, let me see what's happening next. I'm like, I hid that. I hid that so that you guys can see it, because I want you to see it in a bit. But it's all good. So I'll keep this like this in case everybody can see it. Now at least we know. Maybe I want to close it off just a little bit more, because there is more there. And a few of you guys have option for mastery names. Okay, so is this enough to see it all? No, not yet. How about this? I know what I'll do. I'll do like this. So this is the full chart as we have them. Okay, so you guys are going to get an option for letters. I would suggest that we have strategy. You are not defined by these letters exclusively. If we want to create hybrids or connections between these, we can absolutely choose some more letters that are there. So not there. These are just low-hanging fruit. Okay, this is just based on your letters here. Like this one here. If you, my personal opinion would be that Isabel A. Ting, and then after you gain your momentum, then you jump into the J, the S, the H. But we'll talk about how powerful this number is for 2019. So and also the fact that it's got a 5 in it. Okay, so you may be leaning towards this, but this is based on Isabel Ting. So you could use Liz, Belle, Isa, Elizabeth. Like there's so many different options you have available, not just these. So in case you're like, well, shoot, I want to have the bigger numbers too. I want to get into this vibe. It'll either be a different version of your word or your name, or else 2 letters. Okay. So just something to keep in mind, guys. Now, as we enter the 3rd realm, this is the 3rd place of where numbers show up. The first number we see in here is the number 7. Now, number 7s are going to be related to their ability to be psychic, their abilities to be intuitive, their abilities to be quiet. These are like people with, they're not going to say as much. So Karen, born in July, 7/7 for the first 27 years of her life, people are like, are you going to say anything? Like, you're just like, ugh. And that feeling of the negative sevens may just, or this double seven, sorry, may just be like there's something stuck in my throat. And like you may know what you want to say, but it may, like, because these numbers show up with some powerful communication, but it may not be, it may just be that frustration. The names say, hey, let's say something, whereas the birthday says, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't even saying nothing. And that feeling can be very, very like, because the mouth closes at the 7, the eyes open even more. And there's where the level of intuition comes in, the level of power comes into just knowing things. When I'm talking to someone, people learn they learn in very, very many ways, but there's two types that stand out. The 4 is going to study and it's going to learn things based on reading stuff and going in and actually, like, you know, taking a look at what's a bit like in the textbook and take notes. Whereas the 7 is going to close the textbook and go into the more spiritual side of things and the prayer of stuff and the intuition of things. There's vision and there's also intuition of what can happen in the future. So if you've got a 7 in your chart, there's a very strong philosophical, a very strong wisdom inside of you. Poor Terilyn Moana Wolf here is a 7 and a 4. One part's going to be like, I'm going to think my way through this. And the other part's going to be like, stop it, stop, don't stop. Just go get a job and just go work hard. And then the other part's going to be like, shh, I'm trying to meditate. But that little nagging mind of the 4 wants to come in and tell you, you don't know what you're doing. You got to go and do something. Whereas the 7's going to be like, just be quiet. I'm trying to meditate. I'm trying to vision out right now. And I want to look at my future and I'm going to figure out what's going on. So we're going to talk about how to reconcile that, because that can be something that, you know, obviously you really want to take a look at. And as well, being born in 1987, this is not a while for you. Okay. So you're going to not be 55 for a little bit. I would be saying that you may want to take the C or the L instead of Terilyn Wolf, so that you can actually have a value there that actually gives you the 7 in a powerful place, because we know that that's been choking us in communication. Sorry, go for it.
What do you mean? So where would you put the
like Terilyn C. Wolf?
L? Like I'm still like.
It's okay. I'm gonna get to the letters there in a bit, but you have choices. So you could show Terilyn C. Wolf or Terilyn L. Wolf. Okay, and this would be a vibration of moving you into what we'll talk about when we get to 876. So we'll introduce those new numbers in for you guys as well. But 7s, super stoic. They're going to be very reflective. They're people who believe a little bit deeper into magic or a little bit deeper into the spirit of things. And also they'll draw people to you naturally, where they'll want to start telling you everything about their lives. So if you've got a lot of 7s, people are most likely confiding in you and they want to share with you what's going on with them, because you're a very present listener. And especially Karen L. Is that Kiane or Keen? How do you like to say your last name?
It's Kane.
Kane. Okay. So Karen L. Kane. See, there's a very strong, powerful level of business. We're going to get into the 8 now. 8s are the magnetism of money. This is the reason why almost all of these numbers have an 8 in them, is because we're looking to actually have a valuable wealth realm. So when we see a bunch of 8s and then a 7, it's like, I'm going to do business. Oh man, I'm going to write this awesome story. I'm totally going to go live and figure this out. And then as soon as you look at your phone, and 7's like, and then it just doesn't know what to say and it can't figure itself out, and the communication starts to drop, and this very powerful level of business is being chokeholded by an inability to communicate. Whereas if we were just to put that little thing beside it, now suddenly the 8 and the 7 are still there, but it evens out into valuable level of communication. There's a reason why I have this, because I'm super spiritual, but I'm also into family. I'm also into business. So those are the things that really stick out for me, that I really need. The more powerful sides of the 8, law of attraction. So this is a lesson for all of you guys, whether you have it right now or you're about to take it on. That 8 has the power to create exactly what you want and need in your life, or exactly what you're thinking or saying, despite whether or not you know it, like it, or care about it. So in the case like Elizabeth Huawei Ting, this feeling of a 988 has to be very, very strict and very, very careful with what you allow yourself to say, think, believe, and act on. Now, not seeing any other 8s in your chart so far, we can assume that there's a frustration in business. And this money thing is like, man, I need to make this. Like, otherwise I'm not good. And that feeling of wealth can be overwhelming. So when we have powerful 8s in your chart, I'm like blessed to be able to work with you, because this feeling is like not going to, this frustration isn't going to survive. We're going to put an 8 back in your chart in a very powerful way. So I appreciate you for that. But that 8 is very, very like in your face. The 988 is like, we want to create a large amount of wealth and a large amount of value in life. This is an exquisite number to have. There's a reason. These are the CEOs. These are people who want to be in control. They don't want to have jobs. They don't want to work for others. They don't want to take orders. Okay, they want to absolutely crush it. And this is a very valuable feeling that we're going to see in all of your names. Some people may want to take a name that has just 6s in it. I'm not afraid of that. That's cool. But it's all depending on what feels right. So when we're talking about names, which we will in a second, in a few minutes here, just remember, guys, that, or I would suggest as an example or as an exercise, write the name that you've got out when we suggest them, and we will, like as a signature, sign it when you're taking a look at this new name that you've got available for you. If you sign the name, does it feel like you just signed $1 million check, or you just signed an Enagic document putting you to 6A? Did it feel like you just bought a house or just bought a car? Did it feel like you just did something powerful, or did it stop and like challenge you right in the middle of it and be like, I don't even, what letter was that again? And we don't even know, because that the vibration clearly isn't working for us. So we want to find the feeling of connection inside of the name. So keep that in mind. I'm going to give 8s to all of you guys, hopefully, but please, with great power comes great responsibility. I came up with that myself. Just kidding. That's a Spider-Man. But the reality is, guys, is that when you guys have the ability to speak, like, it's tough because this is like the super spiritual, right? Not to your phone, not to my Wi-Fi, not to the computer, not to electricity, not to the feeling of like putting an actual current together. I'm speaking something that's coming across as a sound wave, going into my microphone, traveling halfway across the world for you guys, and going back inside of your brains. Tell me the law of attraction isn't an actual scientific principle. Okay, like this is an actual feeling of radio-like antenna that we actually broadcast a magnetism from our brain. And you know this because you could be in a lineup and you're at the coffee shop and the person in front of you is like, you know, I need my caffeine, and like I'm just pissed off, and come on already, and like what's taking so long? And that feeling is irritating. You're like, whoa, like you know what someone's going through, whether or not you're talking to them or not. They're absolutely obvious. Some people are a bit more subtle with it, like Karen with 777. She's probably reading everybody's mind and just knows what's going on inside of them. And that feeling can be very intuitive to other people's feelings. So there are ways to get inside and outside of intuition, but understanding that the 8 is the power move of wealth through the word. It doesn't want to press buttons, doesn't want to turn cranks and crank things and work a paycheck and clock in and clock out. It wants to say something, and then people who hear it are going to be like, wow, I want to do business. This feels like money. This feels like wealth. So we're looking to put those in your vibration. It could take you guys a day. It could take you a week. It could take you a month. It could take you 3 years. It could take you 3 years to get over yourself. I don't know how much you're reading. I don't know how much personal development you're doing. I'm about to pass you keys to the most powerful vehicle that you've ever ridden in your life. Are you going to get in the driver's seat and drive it? Are you going to go and do your gratitudes every day? Are you going to journal every day? Are you going to post every day? Are you going to go off into your business page every day and show up like a pulse? Or are you going to go flatline and be like, I can't put my ad out. I don't know what my story looks like. I'm not showing up to the events or the webinars. I'm busy. I can't figure it out. The 8 is like, that's going to chew you up if you don't use it. And the problem with the 8 is disassociation from the self. So if we see negative 8s where Karen L. Kane, Terilyn Wolf, maybe someone else has it. It could be disassociative. Okay. It could be a feeling of addiction. It could be feeling of like, I'm not even here. I'm too smart for these people. Or like, I need to get business happening, but I can't get it happening because I can't seem to get past that next number. The 8 wants to do wealth, but the negative side of it just feels like it's underinflated, or it just doesn't have the luster it needs to. And that negative spiral of law of attraction, it's still a law. You're just on the opposite side of the law, okay? So you definitely want to get onto the right side. And you know what that sounds like when you got those 8s in power? It's all good. You know what? Challenge is opportunity. When bad things happen, good things happen. When something bad happens, something great's going to happen after. Trust me, we'll be okay. Everything is old under the sun, nothing new under the sun. The sun will rise again. The sun will shine again, whatever it shows. Like, they're not worried about the small losses. 8s understand that loss is failure, is a building block towards success. So when you guys have 8s in your chart and they may show up negative, you could be beating yourself up, or even just not even caring about who you are. Because the 8, it's all in the head, right? We went up a little bit. So we went from the heart inside of the 6, now inside of the 8, which is your magnetism of idea. If there's no emotional attachment to it, it could just be like, to what? So I'm so sorry, relationship's over. This isn't working for me anymore. I'm just going to break up with you now. And like, I don't even care, because the 8 is just like, it's going to be like non-emotional. It's like, so what? So what? I'm sorry, do you want a tissue? Like, can you get out of the way? And that feeling of the 8 just means business. It's like, you're like, there is no time for emotion inside of it. So we want to carefully place those numbers, because if I'm looking at an 8 inside of this, these are my opinions. There are other numbers that will work, but the 8 inside of mine usually has a 6 in it, right? Or usually has something else in it, a 5 or a 3. So there are other ways to balance out the 8 instead of just having master business. Like, oh my God, I don't care about anyone. I'm just going to fix the world. This is the 8. Okay, so we've got our entrepreneurs and our CEOs. This is the mastery version, the most advanced version of wealth. The 7 is the most advanced version of spirituality. And the 9 is the most advanced version of cosmic and global love. These are the humanitarians. These are the people who absolutely want to change or serve or evolve for others, or to do things for other people. We've got some September babies in here. Isabel's also got a 9 in front of her name and a 9 in front of her business name. So there's an element of giant heart that will take care of others before it will take care of the self. The 9 will just, and Terralyn as well, wants to serve everyone else. It's a cosmic range of love where it may not be actually localized towards relationship or towards self. It is the absolute selflessness of someone. So when we see 9s, we see people who are like, well, where's the leader? And the leader is the one in the front lines, on their knees, actually serving humanity themselves. So when you see them show up in charts, they are either very problematic, super challenge, or their mastery. These are those ones. So we've got a mastery name for Elizabeth Huawei Ting. This vibration will absolutely set you up for a global vision. And then dealing with the frustration of not having the 8 in any other place in your life, I would imagine you're going to have some very powerful things happen for you in your future for sure. But this is giant heart. It feels the pains of others. We look at Karen's chart here. Double 7s, double 9s. She may at a party be in the corner, not wanting to interact with people because of how energetically overwhelmed she may feel about taking everyone else's energy on. That those 9s are like, they're connected to other people. The 7 is like in my head, and the 9 is like bleeding for me. So if someone else is going through a difficult time, then you're going to feel it, Karen. You're going to feel it like it's your pain. And you're going to be like, I got to get out of here. I just got to get some air. I just got to get back to myself again. And I just want to be by myself. So if people call you a recluse or quiet or introverted or whatever, it's probably because you've got a lot of energetic overwhelm that makes you a sincerely spiritual human being. Have you ever considered astral projection, or like traveling through meditation, or going into a space and like being in a different space and disassociating from reality altogether? Might be a powerful place for you to go and recollect your thoughts. So just turn on some powerful meditation music, turn the lights down low, and go off for about an hour and don't fall asleep, and let your mind wander. It will see the future. It will see other people's futures, other people's pasts, and it can really do a lot of timeline therapy. It's a really powerful field, but these make very strong mediums, psychics. When we see 7s and 9s all come combination, or it can just feel the one who's feeling everybody's pain, but you would never know. You would never know, because all they do is love, and they care for others, and they want to care for others. So 9s, very powerful. Then we're gonna breeze through some of the double numbers here. I see double 1s, double 2s, double 9s, double 8s, double 4s. So we have mastery, ladies. Okay, there's mastery inside of us. When you see a November baby or an 11 life path, some of the 2s that show up in your name may also be 11s as well. Angel. There's an added layer of experience that someone has to grow through in terms of relationship. They show up a lot in names, because in names you can add up to 11 pretty easily. So we're looking to think that people are going to learn the hard way about relationships. You know, betrayals and business deals go south and sour, or people that claim they love you don't, or like, you know, you trusted them and next thing you know, it blows up in your face. This is what I have to deal with as a life. But when we gain power over this, suddenly we become mentors and we become teachers. I teach spiritual information to people. I divine a spiritual sense of knowledge to others. So the 11 shows up as a value that I had to, you know, be a late bloomer to understand in my life. The 22, same deal, 1966, 1984. We've got big things happening in the third parts of our lives. This is where we really lay out, unfold the more powerful vision of what we want to create for the world. Anybody hear about some Yahoo? His name's Clint X Morgan. You might have heard of him. He was born on the 22nd of a 22 year. So as of 27, this guy's like, I got to do something big. I got to do something real big. It's going to happen. And I'm like, you got to take the F, the O, or the X. He's like, I'm going to take the X, mate. That's how he talks, right? And so he puts that X in his name. And next thing you know, he unfolds on his masterful plan that he wants to create thousands of people inside of his organization. And he has this stamina, this spiritual stamina to see that far. At a 4, we're thinking, man, I would just be happy with a house. Whereas the 22 in Isabel's chart is saying, I want to go big. I'm not afraid to build this. I absolutely want to create a team full of people. For me, I'm like, I'm going to write books. I'm going to do retreats and events. I'm going to do big things. I'm going to teach people. There's going to be like land. We're going to have land. We're going to do stuff there. And there's a bigger vision that I want to be a part of, that I know that I'm here to usher in the third part of my life. So turning 55, Isabel, is going to be a pretty dynamic feeling for you to grow into. So something to absolutely to look forward to is the most spiritually powerful. This is like a spiritual engineer. So if ever you were saying to yourself, I need to dream bigger, or I need to do bigger, or I need to follow my big dream, your path is opening up for a reason to that. There's a reason why you're having that conversation with yourself, because the 22 wants to take you forward. And with a double 8, dang, we've got power, passion, stability, and also a sincere move. So you may consider boosting up your name to something similar, or you mentioned you didn't want to show up with your regular name, so I'm not going to suggest that, but could be something that we consider when we talk about name adjustments in a minute. There are strategies, okay? So we'll talk about that, which is actually where we're at now. So before we talk about these new vibrations that we have for us, I'm just going to, since there's only 4 of you guys here, I'm going to just list out what your names are saying about you. Angela Marie Reese. Okay, now these are names I'm assuming that you were born with, not names that you got adopted into, like the moment you were stamped on a page and they said, hey, we got a live one. This is how much you weigh, how long you are, how big you are, and this is your name. Your parents name you, okay? In the journey of marriage and life and shortening your name, and I don't use my middle name and I got adopted and all this other stuff, that happens. But in case I'm missing that, this is the reason why I'm saying this. This is the thing that should show up on day 1, day 0, okay? So we take a look at Angela Marie Reese. 2 puts your partnership into a negative. The -1 won't recognize itself. And then the -3 just wants to make other people happy. So you're a great friend. you're a great friend to Bobby, but you're probably not a great friend to yourself. You're super sweet to other people, but you're probably downright mean to you. Okay, so the -1 can just be like, I don't recognize myself. I'm not valuable. I'm not worthy enough. It's all about helping other people first. The 213 wants to succeed on its own, but invariably gets caught looped into the acknowledgement of other people and how am I looking? How do people feel about me? That can be a really difficult feel. Now, as a life path 1, we're seeing that leadership is the name of the game. You have to get over this. This is like a spiritual journey, right? You're here living a life as a human being. And as a life path 1, you show up with a -1 in your name. That's like karma, to think that we have to reclaim our own sense of power. There's a movie out there, Thor. Okay, Thor gets thrown from his planet and he has to rediscover himself on a completely different planet. And this is what the 1 and the -1 are going to show, is that there's a power in you, but you have to grow through it through an ability to help others. And we look at your life path. 11, spiritual difficulty in relationships. 6, care like a mama cares. Okay, like moms care, and and your business will show up the same way. Like, this is a loving family to be in. And then the 2 inside of your chart that's showing up, just want to hold my baby's hand. I just want to walk off into the sunset and just be nice and free with my people and with my person. So there's partnership, there's bigger levels of partnership and spiritual levels of partnership. You're going to be what people are going to scream about when they're successful, to say, man, my sense of my leader was there for me. She was always working with me. She always cared about me more than she cared about herself. And, it's all about learning how to care about yourself now. It's about learning how to create that internal relationship. And when we look at your names, I'm like, hey, well done, Ange Nichols. You couldn't have picked. I mean, like, there are ways to boost this. If in case you want to take a look at the name Ange AJ or Ange AS Nichols, this is where you would boost into mastery, which would leave things like family behind. So it's always the dream to have a Ferrari car, but there's no place for car seats. It's a 2-seater. Okay. There's no radio in this. It's just all gas and all like fuel. It's just all engine. So in case you're running a name like that, you have to tell your partner, you better be holding on to date nights, the heart, the love, the family, because I'm going after the big fish. I'm going after the dragons here. And this wants to change the world. If in case you're like, oh, this is a little bit too much, you could also take the name Ange B. Nichols, Ange K. Nichols, or Ange T. Nichols. And this one would give you an independence and a value in leadership that would actually help move you forward quietly, independently, without having to take care of other people. Now, for me, I'm like, well, most of your partners and most of your names are saying relationship, connection, partnership. I'm not sure if the B, the K, or the T are up your alley, and I'm not sure if the AJ or the AS is up your alley either. But then it would beg the question: are we keeping Nichols? Can we pull Ange out to Angela? Can we run a different vibe to see if there's anything that feels a bit more authentic for you? Maybe Angela Marie. I'm not sure how you feel about that. Or do you think Ange as Nichols, AS Nichols, or Ange AJ, or Ange JA Nichols, or Ange BK or T Nichols fits the bill?
I'm going to get married soon.
Let's talk about this.
I'm trying to decide whether I need to change my last name. It would be Day, D-A-Y.
D-A-Y. Okay, so let's go. Ange Day is not a good name to use for business. How about Angela Day? Angela Day would want something. So if you go, would you be more wanting to use Ange over Angela?
Ideally.
So we go Ange Day, and then the value here I would put. So let's rewrite this, okay? So let's go instead. We're gonna put let's go Ange Day, and then the value that I would use for this, because now it becomes a 257, which is going to be very red. So we absolutely want to make sure that we fix this. Instead of using the BK or the T or how far are we? This is close enough for us to actually start leveling out the name, I guess. So I would be putting an A, or wait a second. If I put an A, then you're here, okay? So this is a powerful slipstream for 2019 that will probably only last you the year. Then you could take J or S, and this one would be a long-term name, okay? So when you're taking a look at 2019, you may find power in Ange A Day, or if you're looking to go a little bit more serious, Ange J or Ange S Day. So these are my top picks. I would say that if you have an option to take one of these two names for 2019, you're just getting started and you're trying to move past some limiting beliefs and some blocks of self, this one has a lot of fun. It's super joyous. It has a lot of passion in it, and it also has business right at the end. So this shows up as like people are like, "Oh my God, how did you do it?" And you're like, "I couldn't tell you. All I could tell you is I had a lot of fun. I came to every event. I just did the thing, and it was magnetic, and people just wanted to be a part of it. It was just something there. So take that into consideration, okay? That's kind of my opinion, that you may want to take Ange A Day, or if and then 2020, when 2020 comes around, we got serious numbers, guys. Like 2019 is your year to hit 6A. So you guys run and dance and fly to 6A. 2020 is going to show up as a year. It's like, okay, let me get my leaders to 6A now, which is a much different game once you have 100 sales in your business. Okay. So if do you have an like a pick? Actually, there's another one. Let me just double check the other one.
Bobby, can I have a quick question?
Sure.
Interrupt Ange, but I was just wondering, with having a name for 2019 and a name for 2020, what do you think it looks like, or have you had any response from other people in the past if we do change our names? Does it lose integrity? And that's why I wonder if I personally would feel more comfortable having a name that's going to have a bit more longevity to it.
You and me both. Yep, you and me both. I had an option for a short-term name. I would like to liken it to a gear in a car. Like, if you're driving standard, then the first couple of gears are going to give you more torque, and it's going to give you more push. And then in the later gears, you get more speed. So the nice thing about a quick number is that, hey, instant results. It's going to work right now. But then in a year, when you start doing some real rebranding, or I guess real branding, where you start spending some actual money on this stuff, you get a PTY LTD, you start putting your real business together, your bigger long-term leadership style business, you may want to pick a more serious number, or never. You may never. In your case, specifically as a Life Path 5, you may never grow out of that. You may always just love the fact that that's you. And I don't know, I'm not sure how long it would last. I just know that when I see it, I'm like, this has got bang and punch, but it doesn't have the long-term string that I'm looking for. So for me, I was like, I'm not going to change my, and I mean, if you look at my name, F stands for Francisco. So when I got a choice of a Q, a Z, an X, or an F, you can imagine I'm like, integrity, hello, I'm going to be Bobby F. Perryhart here. Like, that's my name. I gotta take it. And whether or not it was the right one or not, it turned out to be the most powerful thing that ever happened to me. But I was blessed to think that was actually part of my name. So take it for what you will. I think that's, does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. Sorry to hijack you, Ange. You go ahead.
That's all right.
No, it's all good. We'll all get a chance to hijack each other, and we'll definitely get there. But Ange, what do you think? Does one of these letters fit a little bit easier for you?
Probably J or S.
So let's just put it here for now. It sounds like either you're super modest and humble, or you're unsure. So what I would suggest is hold it in your mind. And if you decide you need to change it later, or you want to change it again, then you absolutely let me know. You'll be super grateful that you did not change your name legally. We are not changing names legally, okay? So just so everybody understands, this is just a Facebook change today. But in the future, you may look at changing your name legally. In the case of the Mrs. Day here, it would show up as Angela Marie Day. That's a good name. Okay, so on its own, it'll balance you back out. But I probably would put a B, a K, or a T in there. Or if you're okay with taking Angela, or with taking Marie out, and you're changing your name legally, then I would put Angela H Day, Angela Q Day, or Angela Z Day. Or you could even take Angela A Day, J Day or S Day. So Angela J Day will also work, but Angela J Day is now up here, 898. So it's a very, very strong, powerful name. And to think, Angela J Day works at the most powerful value, or S, and then Ange J or Ange S Day would work at the more human level. So you got a very powerful name set inside of Ange or Angela Day if you use the J or the S. Clear as mud?
Cool. Yeah, perfect.
So I'm going to leave it here like this for now. And if you do want to balance it out again, or you change your mind in the meantime, we've got a short list this time. So last time I did it with a bunch of people, halfway through, someone was like, oh, can I change it? In this case, once we're done, we're done. But absolutely, we'll definitely connect again if we need to. And if it wasn't right, don't worry about it. We can change. We can change outfits. We'll be glad we didn't do that then. Okay, so let's go to Isabel now. There is an option to take off one H. You could also change it around to Elizabeth. You can, end of story. You're the only person this is going to apply to. When people see something that isn't a name on Facebook, it will start to confuse them because Facebook wants to see people. So you would
have it attached to a name. Absolutely. I'd already decided that before we got here.
Cool.
I don't really want to go back to my birth name. There are so many spellings of Isabel I didn't even know about when I gave that name to myself. I think that was back in 2009. I could put a Z, I-Z-A-B-E-L. How does that look? I kind of an H.
So you mean to say that you would be considering respelling Isabel?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go Isabel, and we're going to do, instead of an S, we're just going to go I-Z-A-B-E.
Yeah, can we do it in business name one so I can just see the difference?
Yep. So, and with Isabel Ting, we would be adding a J or an S, or otherwise it would be, I would say, more like the C or the L. So let's do it like this. So what we'll do is we're gonna go Isabel Ting. And
just one L. What happens with one L?
Sure. And you still want to put the E at the end? No.
It's I-Z-A-B-E-L.
There you go. See this?
Or I-S-A-B-E-L.
This is the one you want. So this is the valuable vibration. It needs no initial, which looks super sexy if you want my opinion. And I'm just gonna delete this, okay?
Yep.
You could still put a B, a K, or a T on this if you really wanted to and take another vibe, but the 696 is Master Woman. Now, there's a value in this because you've got leader, you've got master business, you've got passion and care and a lot of love. To have this all centralized around balance, it's going to take a lot of the edge off. This is a longer term number. It's going to teach you patience, but at the same time, it's long term. This is like, and just so you guys know, okay, my son, I've named him, can I do this? Come on, computer. You can do it. You can do it. I've named my son Balwant Robert Perryhart. Oop. Balwant Robert Perryhart. His name is a 696. So totally just ruined that there. I've chosen this for my son. I've spent the last 4 years learning this technology, and I brought a life into this world. I've put my entire faith of my future bloodline on that name. So in case you're like, should I take it? And it's a very powerful name that will even things out. Isabel Ting, absolutely. Okay. And hey, you don't have to put your authentic spelling of your name and let people know who you really are. Like, you get a chance to create a public figure. And this is what you're really looking to do, is create that. I can even tell by the smile on your face that it feels good.
I do love it. I had a question. Gone blank. I'll have to ask afterwards.
Cool. Yeah, you'll remember it. Trust me, it'll come back. And when it does, I'll be right here for you. What about your original Facebook name? Can you change this? Is this something that you're planning on keeping? I would say that this is still problematic.
What's the numerology of Isabel? Oh, I know. The question was, I need to be braver to show myself. So I want to make sure that the numerology is going to do that for me.
You know, it's the Isabel Tang. It removes bravery and it puts in confidence and assurance. So it's not like you're like, bravery is something you need to have when you're scared. And that 5 is like saying, I'm going to fight this thing. I've got courage. I'm brave and I'm going to do it. Whereas a 6 is going to be like, you know what? We're here on purpose. It's all good. We're going to do this.
It's just how I'm starting to feel.
Yeah.
I used to have just Isabel, Isabelle, Ting. I've only recently added the HH just to try it. So I'm happy to drop them. And I was just wondering though, what does Isabel, Isabelle, Ting, how did that look? Was I already more powerful with the double H in there?
This one would be the same problem that I'm dealing with, which is self-sabotage and lack of communication. So it'll be argumentative and it's not going to stand up for itself until it's too late, and it'll bubble over when it doesn't want to. You put one H in there and you're good to go. Isabel H Tang. So in case you want to keep the spelling of the way it is and just put one H instead of the 2, I would suggest that. I'd
rather be a little bit, because at the moment, anybody can find me on Facebook and that's me. You know, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with that given the security and all that sort of stuff. So I'm happy with this.
Okay, so you're okay to take this as a personal name as well?
Oh, I love it.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you.
Yes, I like that. Guys, everyone's going to see you. And whether they do business with you or not, they hold space for you when they see a name like this. And nobody knows numerology. So when they get a chance to see this, they're like the same thing as me not knowing how to play a guitar. That's a bad example. I know how to play guitar. But me not knowing how to play a harp, and I hear someone playing my favorite song on the harp, I'm still going to feel the song. So the same thing with this name. They don't need to know what it means. All they're going to feel is that you're caring, you're loving, you've got a good sense of leadership, and that people want to listen to what you have to say. And you've taken it's like the iron fist and the velvet glove. You put the velvet glove on top now. So now it's going to have that loving care, and it's not going to be such of the iron fist of the 5, which makes you very formidable. But the 6 makes you more like fluid, and that feeling is in there. Okay, cool. So looking good so far. Very welcome. Thank you for trusting me with this. This is a very valuable thing. So you're very, very welcome. Okay, Karen Kane. Now, this is an interesting vibe we've got going on because your name actually is good. It works well. But I would suggest that we want to work smart, or we want to have a mastery name. This vibration is going to work too hard. So if I see it in a first name, or if I see it as a middle name, I'm like, I trust this. I trust you. Okay, I know that you got hustle, and I know that you're working hard. You're just kind of like, I'm working a little bit too hard. I'd like to be able to even that out a little bit for you. Do any of these numbers make sense? Karen B, K, or T? How about Karen B, Karen D, M, or V? The difference between these two. Okay, so just so you understand, the B, K, or the T puts business up front, which is something you understand. Then the intuition that is your life path goes on the inside. I would absolutely be loving this so far for you. That's the number that I have in my name. And then it balances out between communication of love, family, business. Your business turns into a family almost. And it's a wonderful trifecta of the 3 most powerful things in the charts available: business, spirit, and family. So in my case, I'd say take Karen B, Karen K, or Karen T Kane as a vibration. The next one goes over the top, which you're starting to lose sensation of love in favor of the more powerful vision of your business and your wealth. This could take you up to 5 years to figure out. Okay, so not sure how you feel about that. Also, your name, Karen Lorraine Kane, could also take a B, a K, a T to it if you put it here. And then that way you've got a value of 268. So you could go Karen Lorraine B. Kane or Karen K. Lorraine Kane. It's a little bit longer, but just so you know, you have a value within this name that you could use.
Yep.
What are you thinking?
Well, having a look at it, my name starts with a K. My mum, her name's Veronica, but we call her Bonnie, is a B. And my eldest child is Talia with the T.
My daughter's name is Tala, and everybody calls her Talia. So that's funny to hear that she actually has it. So you've basically got a tough decision.
My decision's quite easy. I said my daughter is my eldest daughter and the eldest grandchild. So I'd take the T.
Okay, so let's go Karen T. Kane. and I love it. It sounds wealthy. It sounds valuable to me. Are you going to change them both? Can you do that for me?
Yep.
Okay. So this is a powerful name for business up front. And then the next thing that it shows up with is spirituality on the inside. So you don't lose that level of intuition, but it does balance out communication. So over time, you're going to start to feel like your voice is coming back. And I mean, it's not like it really ever left. It was there. It's just hiding under all of these 7s and these 9s, and then the name that was going off into the wrong direction. Your business page is almost like the biggest potential unseen, the unreached potential shows up inside of there. So very, very powerful stuff. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to put a T there. And so you've chosen the T, and let's go. Let's do that. That's awesome. Okay, so Terilyn, now let's take a look at this. I want to find something that works really well. You're planning on using Terilyn Wolf. Your Facebook personal page says Terilyn Wolf as well.
Yeah. So I because in the business they said that if my business name was one way, that I would have to put my Facebook page as the same name, just so it's more authentic.
I would. I do. I think so.
Yeah.
Totally up to you, though.
So,
is it true? No, you don't have to. If you do want to create something separate, you can. But if you would like to have the same letter twice, I was measuring Terilyn Wolf. So Terilyn C or Terilyn L Wolf, same conversation we were having with Karen, or same conversation we were having with Karen with an N or a W. Do either of these poke out to you more than the rest?
well, the C stood out to me, but I didn't see the N and the W. So,
okay, I'll tell you this. If you're planning on raising your kids by yourself, you may find you'll either have to hire a nanny, or you're going to want to, you'll end up disassociating from them. As a family, I would not do this to myself. So
right.
I have this, and this is my HQ or Z. I chose the F or the X, or I could take H, Q, or Z, and I would be here. I would be here. So what I would suggest is if you are to take the N or the W, if that was calling your heart, that you either know what you're doing for sure, you're like, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to figure this out. Absolutely. The one knows the wants what it wants. So if that's part of your vision, I absolutely respect you, but I would probably suggest you only take it for your business page. And then for your personal page, you're at least something a bit more like human, because the 898 is almost borderline unhuman. It'll be a very, very difficult number to raise a family with, in my opinion. I mean, I would suggest absolutely the C or the L. Keep it cool, keep it lovely, but the N or the W will catapult you into. It's almost like telling your children, "I'll be back in 5 years, and and we're going to Disney every month after that." Okay, I promise we're going on a plane every month. But and you'll probably come back for sure doing that. But they're under 10. You can't disappear.
Right.
Exactly. There's a reason why I took the F over the other one. I'm like, oh, if I just take Belmont Francisco, then it's a 988. So I have it available, and I even have my numerology page underneath that. It's a ghost town because I'm not making 7 figures yet. So when I'm in the 6 figures now. But when I get to the 7 figures and I make my first $1 million, I may be looking at a more serious vibration or labeling my business Belmont Francisco so that I can see it that way, because that's what I want. And as well, when Elizabeth Huawei Ting is showing up, she's going to be like a powerhouse for a signature. This is an absolute visionary for global. But at the same time, look what she's done. She's gone back into the 6 to balance things out a little bit. So I'm not sure if one shows up, or if you want, we can even take a look at what Terry Wolf does. It's totally up to
what does Terry Wolf, or I don't know, what does T Wolf, just TEE?
Okay, so TEE Wolf. That one actually leads you back to the very beginning of what you just had. 472, 742 would be the same letters. You'd have to take a C or an, where was it? No, wait, hold on. T Wolf, 472. Did I? Oh, no, that's right, because we're doing another name. So in this case, it would be like TD Wolf or TM Wolf. That's not a bad look. That one would put you right here, 426. So structure, discipline, ability to take care of your kids, be friends with them, love them, care for them, and have a very powerful level of business that shows up the same way. So that would be one way to show up with TM Wolf. Otherwise, DEF, no, O or TO Wolf, which would show up like this, which is very, very independent. Okay. So after this, I would probably say, let's try Terry. And can we do TERI?
Yep, that's fine. That's exactly how I spell it.
Oh man, this is it. Okay, that's the one. That's the one. So you go Terry Wolf. Okay, this is what gonna put you here. And wow, look at that. You don't even need an initial. You could put one if you want. You could put an R, but don't. It doesn't make any sense. So if that's okay with you, if that makes you feel like this looks good on a call display, it looks good on an email, it looks good everywhere. Like this makes me feel like, oh man, I like closed my eyes for a second and like I felt like these waves of the universe just go across my face. I'm looking at a very lined up level of entrepreneurs here, guys. You guys have done me a huge honor and an unbelievable amount of service by allowing me to do this for you guys. I take this so seriously. Terry, do you have any questions about this?
I'm just like staring at it. I'm like, it just makes me unsure just because Terry is like my nickname, you know, like it's not very professional or anything like that. And so I'm just like looking at my name and I'm like, I don't know, does that look better than like, because that's legit my name pretty much, like Terry Wolf, but then keeping Terralyn to be professional and adding a C is like, okay, that's cool, but then my family and stuff are going to be like, what the hell is the C? You know, like it's not authentic to who I am, you know, as a person. I don't know.
It's like Terralyn, okay, just so you know, is a much more powerful name than Terry. Just
yes.
on its own, you're correct. Yeah. So
yeah.
You go Terralyn Seawolf for your business page and just tell your family, like, I went crazy, got numerology, was stupid, was crazy, whatever. No big deal. And leave me alone. And then on your personal page, you still have the same vibe, but it's got the more familial feel for your
right.
your local
yeah,
folk.
That to me feels better, even though C is like so random, but it feels way better because Terralyn to me seems more like a strong leader's name compared to Terry. Kind of just like a plain Jane.
Would that look okay, or would that still look a little weird with double L's inside of Terralyn?
How
about that?
Weird.
How about that? Yeah, it still looks kind of weird, hey?
Yeah, I think the C, I don't know, the C feels better.
How about like that? No. C feels better.
Yeah.
Well, numerologically it's the same. And to think that this holds a level of authenticity, this one holds a level of passion, and there's a bit, because Terralyn will say, let's hustle. I'm a businesswoman and I'm not afraid to do the hard work. I'm ready to do this. Whereas Terry, be like, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. It's no big deal. You're not going to get it anyway. And I express it. So it'll keep the people who are close to you quiet, and it'll promote the value of power inside of the people you work with. So that for me is
So are you saying to keep my Facebook name as Terry Wolf?
I would do that. Yeah, I would absolutely do that. Yeah. And then that way you can at least still capitalize on this. Everybody's existence is a universe on their own. So when you are showing up to them, they're weaving you into the reality of fabric of reality. So if you show up with Terry Wolf there, people are going to get it. They're going to understand you. And then if you show up with Terralyn Seawolf, they're still going to get the same vibe, but you get to capitalize on the fact that Terralyn is a bit more of a powerful name, and nobody's going to challenge you about the C or the L inside of Terry Wolf.
All right.
Cool. Now,
guys,
yeah, and to be honest, there are 7s in your chart, okay? If you guys have 7s in your chart, you may be overthinking this. And not overthinking in a negative way. You could just want to think about it over and think it over, not overthink it. That's what I meant to say. You may want to think it. You may want to meditate on this, feel it, ask it for a day or two, and you may pause on changing your name on your page until you get that ding, like the boiling pot's ready, or the feeling of like, I'm going to do this. I'm ready to rock this name. If you're not, hey, perhaps maybe we want to have more conversation about it. Perhaps maybe there might be something going on inside of the chart that needs to be acknowledged. So what I'll do for you guys is I usually do like my sessions are like this. So when I book people in, or people book in with me, they get a chance to book in for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. I would suggest that because we've all been here today, when this is an $88.88 for like US, we've covered what we could have covered. It covers a name and it covers a report. We got that for our time together where we were in. Usually when I'm talking to somebody for 30 minutes, it's 156. For 60 minutes, it's 268. And for 90 minutes, it's 333. So for you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to 134. I'm going to go down to 222. And then I'm going to go down here to 299. So in case you guys do want to book in with me, you guys are going to get exclusive pricing. You just have to message me and say, hey, Bobby, I want to go and dive into my session. I want to dive into my chart. And we get a chance to talk about things in a much more private setting, and we'll record it specifically for you. Now, this isn't going to expire. As long as my prices are the same, I'm going through rebranding, so I will be raising them sooner or later. But you guys get a chance to just call on me whenever you need. You have one get-out-of-jail-free card. I'm going to honor that price for you guys. I've already taken you money from you guys, and I appreciate that with so much sacred honor and sacred respect that if you guys do want to work with me again, I can't feel right about charging you full price because that's just not how I roll. And everybody who works with me gets a chance to get a lower price just because, you know, you guys are repeat clients. Okay. So I thank you guys so much. How about questions? Do we have anything in here that we want to discuss before I let you guys go? Look at that. It was, has it been 2 hours? Yeah. I thought it was going to be 90 minutes.
Me, actually.
Yep.
Bobby, I do get called Izzy. I quite like that because when I was Elizabeth, I only had a nickname of Liz, which I didn't resonate with at all.
Okay.
So Izzy is an IZZY. At the moment, I go by ISSY. Not that I would, and like you, Terry, I didn't really feel comfortable being Izzy in a business way. So
Izzy with a double Z is going to be master fighter. So it might be the name you tell someone when you're telling them what to do. ISSY, Izzy, like ISSY, is not a name I would use. I would not. I would say there's more power for you in double Z than there is in double S.
Okay, cool. That's all I want to ask. Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. Yeah, it's like because when you're from 0 to 27, it looks like this. It looks like the first number over the second number. Okay, so when we look at Izzy's chart here, it'll be 9 over 5. If I take a look at Izzy like this, it's 955. If you guys can see that on my screen at the top there, wherever it is. So the value inside of your name will show up as your youth, the one you had when you were like a young babe. Okay, so you may look back at that being like, you know what, I like that feeling to think this is who I naturally was. Big heart, big passion, force to be reckoned with. I'm back, baby. And that feeling is Izzy with a double Z. So you may look at that as a newfound sensation of youth. Anything else? Anyone else have closing remarks? We're recording this. You guys are going to get a recording of this. Do I have permission to use this, guys? Am I okay to use this for my marketing? Yes,
I'm
yes.
okay with it. Yeah.
Thank you. Cool. Karen's cool. I got the thumbs up from everyone. You guys are awesome. I appreciate this. This is one of the more, this is the third time I've done a smaller group, and I absolutely love it because we get a chance to go much further in and deeper. Anyone else have any comments?
I didn't have a question, but I just wanted to say, like, with everything you said, like with each of my numbers, it was just exactly, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, but it just pinpointed exactly who I am. And I don't know why I do things. I'm like, what the heck? Why am I doing, like, why do I feel so confused, torn? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. My number is saying that I love to help people and put myself, last, but then at the same time, I want to get things done. So I don't know. I'm just a ball of confusion.
But, it's interesting because like it'll almost be like the deer in headlights where you're like thinking a million miles a minute, but then to the outside you're just sort of calm and be like, don't say anything, just calm, relax.
100%. That's exactly who I am. people don't know what goes on in my head, and I'm like super stressed, but no one knows because I just like, okay, cool. Let's get this done. And yeah,
You
I
go,
don't know,
girl.
but I really appreciate your time.
You're
Really,
very,
really
very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Absolutely. And my heart goes out to you. And I absolutely appreciate the success that you're about to create for your family and other families. But yeah, you've got a powerhouse level of leadership in there. Okay. And it's got charm to it as well. So don't forget that you're a fun person to be around.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Very, very welcome. All right, guys, it is almost, what is it? Almost 1 a.m. where I'm at. How about Karen? You put something on the screen. I didn't see what that was. Do we want to go over that? What was that in there? How does that say there? Oh, that's your new name.
It's my new name. It's backwards because yeah.
Well, I can see it forward.
But I signed it.
Good. So you're putting that on the record of the universe. The universe has seen your new name, KT Kane, it stands for Karen T. Kane for sure.
Yeah, that's it. That's the signature.
Let me just double check, because if you're just gonna put KT Kane, that says something as well. And this one it works. It works. KT Kane will work. It actually says 11-11-22, so it's a very powerful, super spiritual vibration for sure. But interesting that would work out the way it works. It's a very wonderful number. It looks like the way we were looking at 876, it goes 11-11-22. So when you put KT Kane, you're calling in a very spiritual backup when you use that.
Cool.
Cool. All right, guys. And yeah, go for it.
I've been signing my new name with AJ Day.
AJ Day. Let's try it.
It just flows and it looks good. I like the J.
AJ Day, another really powerful one. In your case, what I would do is I would take the A and do like a scribble out the NG. So like A, and then you just like drag out the A to make sure it encompasses the N and the G, and then put the J Day. So if it can drag on a little bit, then you'll have space for the Ange. Otherwise, it doesn't have the same power as Ange J Day, just so you know.
Awesome.
Also, when are you getting married?
End of the year, perhaps.
Okay, so what I would do is when closer comes to planning a date that you will change your name legally, please consider me. Okay, let me know, hey Bobby, I'm going to do it. There are days that add up. If you're trying to do this on your own, you would take the calendar and you would squeeze them into a single day, so month plus day plus year, the same way we were doing this with your birthday. And if it adds to a 6 or a 4 or a 3, you're in a good place for a marriage. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, guys. I appreciate you all. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to be sending you each a personalized report that's included with a full session and a full calendar for 2019 that's specific to your chart. I did not read this. I did not write it. It's a produced algorithm based on numerology. I hope you guys find so much value in this. Print it out, take notes on it, read it, put it by your bed, put it on your phone, whatever you got to do to keep it active inside of your life. I would absolutely suggest that this is going to be supremely powerful for you guys. And other than that, I will let you guys all go. Okay. Thank you guys so much once again. And keep in touch with me if you ever need anything. Okay.
Thank you so much, Bobby.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, ladies.
Thank you, Bobby. Nice to meet you.
All right, guys.
Bobby.
All right, Norris, take care. Have a great night, everyone.